What's going on, Energy Family? Welcome to 5D Warriors of Light. I'm Ace, as many of you know, and for those of you who are just joining, welcome to the Energy Family. If you would like to become a part of it, please hit that subscribe button. We also have a Telegram channel if you want to check us out at Army of Energy Chat. And today I wanted to talk to you all about how we are spiritual beings living an emotional experience in human form, and how we sometimes get it twisted and flipped around the other way. So it's been about 6 weeks since I've made a video. I kind of got in my feels about it. It's getting my ego a little bit, subscribers and views and all these human label worries, insecurities that truly aren't real, but they are when you're feeling them. And that's oftentimes where we get stuck, is not allowing ourselves to actually feel the human experience we're going through, because we think we're either better than it, or we're trying to escape from it. So I went to this river called the Huzzah River in Missouri this past weekend and spent 3 days, no service, in the woods, camping, kayaking, having a good time with my buddy's family. They were doing a little get together they do every year for Father's Day. There's about 50 to 70 people that came out, which is nuts to begin with. But it also gave me ample time to really be with myself without all the distraction of the society, the distractions of TV and Black Mirrors, and even as much as just thinking about having to do something, even something so little as that, right? It's just gone when you're in nature and you're present and you're just being. And I came back from it completely rejuvenated with a whole new focus on what it is that I need to do within myself and for myself moving forward, as well as the Army of Energy and the 5D Warriors of Light. And that is just to be myself. Again, I was being a version of myself that was true, but it wasn't completely me, because I was thinking I had to make content for other people instead of making it for myself and the people that had been watching this content. I myself may know a lot, right? I know a lot about a lot. I've done a lot of studying. I've lived a really intense and incredible life already in my 32 years on this planet. But that doesn't mean I'm not a human at times going through this, even though I have a higher perspective. The human condition is the whole point of our experience. The whole point of being here in Earth School is to be with the human, to guide the human through these trials and tribulations, right? Which we've discussed in previous videos is misapplication of energy or thought. Again, when we're trying to do something that isn't natural to where we're at, it's always going to cause problems. So why do we do it? Why are we always trying to escape being human? And because it sucks sometimes. It's hard. You've been here as many times as I have. You come into this remembrance. You've always just known things. You've always just felt things, and yet you never trusted it. You never believed in yourself. You always believed outside of us, always comparing and contrasting what's going on in here first from out there, and then bringing it back to us. And we never compare, we never measure up, and then we kind of just get a little depressed, a little anxious, and we just say that's just the way it is. But what really is the way it is? Is there any specific way? I don't believe that. And that's where I'm starting to see a lot of people getting caught, is in taking these concepts, these really high-end, highbrow concepts, and owning them and becoming them, as if to identify with your knowledge, your lower K knowledge. What if, I asked this question in the Army of Energy chat on Telegram, I asked this question, what if the only way that we can bring the knowledge that we study with us on this sojourn is if we converted it into wisdom, right? So what if we studied, right? Our whole lives we were academic, but we never applied it. We just read books, we talked to people, but we never actually went out and discovered it for ourselves, seen it for ourselves, experienced it for ourselves. Does that come with us? Or does it leave with the vessel? Now, how do we embody knowledge? We have to convert it into experience. We convert it into wisdom through the experiences that we apply it with. So we study, we go to school, we go on the internet, we do all these things, and then we go forth into the matrix and we apply the lessons that we learn, we apply the principles and the concepts and all these things and see if it is true. Because it could be true to you in your resonance, but until it materializes in front of you, until you apply it, does it really matter? And can you actually bring it with you? And that's why I talk about us being spiritual beings, having a human experience. This whole thing is emotion, energy and motion, right? Because here's the thing. If we don't turn it into wisdom, if we don't have experience behind the concept, then how do we know it's true? That's this whole thing about the polarization of our country right now and the polarization of the world, is this idea that everyone's arguing with each other about all the shit that they know, but they've never even applied. They've never even actually put it into play to see if it is true, or to see what's true about that concept, idea, or perspective, and what can be retweaked or let go of. We don't have a lot of humility yet because with all our trauma, we identify with our knowledge, we identify with our intelligence, and it becomes us. So it isn't about being right. It isn't about being correct. It isn't about actually finding the truth and learning and growing. What it is about, it's about asserting ourselves in that righteousness so that our egos can feel like they're validated. But what is ego? Your ego is the part of you that's your defense. It's your human defense mechanism. We didn't know how to protect ourselves. We didn't know how to say no. We didn't know how to let people understand that the way they're treating us was unacceptable, and therefore something inside of us had to have been created to protect us. And now we vilify the ego constantly instead of realizing that the ego is the one that's had our back this whole time, and it's us that was weak. It was us that wasn't courageous. It was us that was cowardice and not being able to speak our truth, not being able to stand up for ourselves, and not being able to do the things that we need to do to make sure we're moving forward. And so then our ego starts getting assaulted by us, starts getting chastised by us, and then it stops doing its job. Because what are we doing to our ego? We're constantly feeding drugs into it. We're constantly feeding alcohol, food, sex, distraction, media, screens, all these things to escape being human. Because the ego is human. And the ego is here to protect us, and we're here to guide this human through a soulful experience. So I want to leave you really quick with just this today. How are you a spirit living in a human experience right now? And how can you be more kind to your human moving forward instead of judging it and judging everyone outside of yourself? Because this is how the ego works. When we judge others for what they're doing in reality, we're just judging ourselves. It's a reflection in the hologram so that we know what we need to work on. But we project it outwards because our ego loves us so much, it doesn't actually want us to feel that shitty about it. So it projects it onto everyone else around us and makes sure that we think it's other people. But if you take a deep breath and you sit with it, you realize that you're most likely triggered at some point, and now you're reaching for straws, trying to get yourself back on even ground, trying to synergize yourself again. And if you would just stop, breathe, ask, listen, and trust, you'd learn that it's all good. There is no good and bad. There is no right and wrong. It's all contrast. But it's our judgment of ourselves. It's these high expectations we set of ourselves that we can never achieve that then it creates this decay, or at least this idea that we're decaying. But in reality, we're constantly growing. We're constantly growing either out or growing up. The spirit grows up, the ego grows out in any way capacity. So if you have anger, that's growing out. If you have body fat, that's growing out. If you have traumas, that's growing out. If you choose distraction over actually dealing with your shit, it's growing out. But growing up is handling your stuff, being responsible for your shit, being accountable to yourself for everything that's happened in your life. And so I just want to leave you with this today. Please be a little nicer to your human, because it's going through this ascension and it's rough. Our DNA is being unlocked. We're being asked to go through the darkest, deepest traumas. We're being activated left and right. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. We don't know what's up and down sometimes. We don't even know what day it is sometimes. And yet we're still here judging ourselves. We're still here being upset with ourselves. And we're still here projecting it on all these other humans. We're going through a similar experience in soul form as well. So I just be nice to yourselves a little bit. Just be a little kinder to yourselves. work on that self-talk. Build yourself up. Have your own back. Talk to yourself with a little bit of kindness, a little bit of respect and dignity, and watch this vessel, watch this human just come alive. So if you liked what you've seen and heard today, hit that like button. If you want to join the Army of Energy, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate you all being on this journey with me, and I hope I can start making more videos like this moving forward. And I'll see you all again sometime soon. Take care, and goodbye.